Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Subby here at Baumgart's Weather Center. Well, I'm currently tracking and keeping very close eye on a very messy situation unfolding for this afternoon, this evening, and into the overnight hours. And if you recall, when we talked this morning, there was that cluster of thunderstorms in eastern Kansas early this morning, and all indications was that it was going to kind of weaken, fizzle out, and then we were kind of reprime the atmosphere for that potential of severe weather this afternoon, this evening, and into the overnight. Now, all that is still in play, but we have several different factors that we have to look at now. There's several outflow boundaries that are left over from this morning rain and thunderstorms. We have to take that in consideration. We've been left with kind of overcast skies. How is that playing with the instability of the atmosphere? So we're really kind of doing what's called nowcasting, meaning that yeah, we're still looking at the models, but we're looking more on radar to see how it's interacting with the atmosphere, each individual cell, to where we can get a trending of what's going to happen as we go through the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours. Now, one thing of note that this system is coming in almost 3 to 5 hours ahead of time because of all of these added potential chances of thunderstorms. So if somebody, say, down in Nevada gets round 1, 2, and 3, they could easily end up with 3 inches of rainfall. Whereas maybe somebody up at Higginsville maybe gets round 1, skip round 2 and 3, they might only get about ½ inch to a 3/4 inch of rain. So it is a very, very difficult forecast challenge that we have as we go into the afternoon. So as you can see here on radar on your screen, we do have a line of strong thunderstorms out in eastern Kansas that are making their way toward the east and the southeast. Now, these storms could affect parts of west central Missouri, already affecting down in Vernon County. Now, there are no watches in place right now. We have no warnings, special weather statements, nothing. These are just good, strong thunderstorms. But as that system, that low pressure system, works its way closer to our area, and of course, we're going into kind of the heat of the day between that 2 and 5 o'clock time frame. If you recall earlier this morning, I posted kind of really watching around the 2 to 4 o'clock time frame in eastern Kansas for any development. And now we have that development. Now I'm going to be watching and now casting to see if they can tap into some of the better ingredients that are needed for intensification, for severe thunderstorms. So we really have 2, maybe even 3 rounds of thunderstorms that we are watching for through now all the way through the overnight hours. The National Weather Service, we just kind of went through a little video and kind of an update from them, and they're dealing with the same thing. It's a very messy, kind of confusing forecast. So I agree with their consensus of what's going on with the atmosphere. I do have what they had issued here just moments ago. I'm going to put that up here on the screen for you guys so that you guys can take a look at this as well. So they are thinking that likely sometime around the 7 o'clock time frame, some of these storms that we were seeing in eastern Kansas right now will make their way into parts of west central Missouri, far eastern Kansas, maybe even a little bit sooner than that from what I'm kind of seeing here on radar currently. And then it really begins to kind of compile into more of a linear format around 9 o'clock through 11 o'clock as it pushes its way through west central Missouri. And then kind of another round around 1 a.m. on the backside of this line moving through. Now, this one might be severe, but probably more than likely just some heavy rain producers and maybe some brief wind gusts. But again, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on all of these storms as they roll through west central Missouri, and of course with those periods of heavy rain this afternoon into the overnight, 1 to 2 inches is going to be pretty common throughout west central Missouri as we go through tomorrow morning. And we might even see some localized flooding, maybe some flash flooding in here in parts of maybe Bates and Vernon County, especially if these areas pick up both 1, 2, and 3 rounds of thunderstorms as we go through the overnight hours. So again, kind of a messy situation here. The confidence on forecast timing, who's going to get severe weather, who's not going to get severe weather, all of that is really just it's clear as mud right now. But the overall taking of this and try to keep the questions down to a minimum. So again, Pettis County, Benton County, St. Clair, Henry, Johnson, Missouri, Cass, Missouri, Bates, Missouri, Vernon, Missouri. If you're in one of those counties, we're all kind of in the same boat. Okay, we all have that potential to see some severe weather as we go through the afternoon, evening, and the overnight hours. I will be here watching and tracking these storms with you guys. I will be going live if we get under a watch or a warning pops up here on radar within the next few hours. I'll go live. We'll walk you right through it. But we're going to have several periods of the possibility of rain and thunderstorms as we go through late afternoon into the evening hours and again into the overnight time frame. So want to give you guys kind of an update on this because it's it's very easy as a forecaster. If we have a cold front moving through, we have a line of strong storms, they blow through, and then we're done with the night. But this is going to be coming in segments, and they're interacting with all of the boundaries. I think last I counted, there's about 7 outflow boundaries left over from this morning convection. If any of these storms fire up on the boundaries, that can kind of throw the whole forecast off. So again, that's one of the reasons I wanted to get on here, kind of explain a little bit. I will not be able to answer the specific questions like, I live a mile and a half away from Chehaui. Am I going to get severe weather tonight? I mean, we're all in the same boat together for this evening, watching it very closely. As you guys feel, it's very warm, humid. Even though we have cloud cover, we still have a lot of energy out there for these thunderstorms to work with. So here just about an hour and a half ago or so, Storm Prediction Center updated their threat assessment outlook. So let's take a look at that here real quick before we get out of here. So they have adjusted it eastward a little bit, in which bringing that level 3 out of 5, that's in the orange color, a little bit further into west central Missouri for Henry County, Cass, Bates, Vernon, St. Clair counties. And then around that is in the yellow zone. That's the level 2 out of 5 for a slight risk of severe thunderstorms. We take a look at the hail threat. And again, just a slight risk here in west central Missouri. I think our greater threat is going to be a wind threat, in which now some of our area is in that black hatched area, that 30% or greater chance of seeing strong straight line winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So, we are talking some pretty intense thunderstorms. The tornado threat, it is low, but notice that 5% into brown has inched a little closer into west central Missouri, southern Bates, Vernon County. You guys are in that 5% risk. Everybody else around there is in a 2% risk, which, again, these are very low percentages, but we still, again, need to stay weather aware for changing conditions. And if any of these thunderstorms interact with a outflow boundary that's left over from this morning's storm, they can instantly become severe. So we just want to make sure that we have means to be able to get watches, warnings, advisories. Remember, all of the towers in the Springfield area for weather radios, they are down for regularly scheduled maintenance. So from the 16th through the 18th. So if you're down in that area, you have to remember that you're not going to be able to rely on weather radios this evening. So make sure you have an app, Storm Shield, American Red Cross emergency app on your phone or tablet. They have audio and visual warning notifications, and actually Storm Shield will wake me up in the middle of the night to tell me we have storms in the area. So that is what's gotten me through all those times so far this year that we have not been able to rely upon the weather radios here in west central Missouri, because we've had a heck of a time with that tower out there at Shawnee Mound. So again, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings, watches, and advisories as we go through. Now on day 2, which is tomorrow, notice a lot of this is going to be shifting off to our east. Now, St. Clair County down through Springfield, we're going to be watching for the possibility of some refiring of thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Very slim chance of that happening, but we're going to be paying very close attention for that possibility tomorrow afternoon after these storms pass our area overnight. And then, of course, on day 3, we have most of this activity will now be shifted well to our south and east of us on day 3. So lots to be watching for this afternoon. So and again, we want to make sure that we keep up to date. I'm going to continue to update you guys as we go through this afternoon, and if we get any watches, warnings issued, you can be sure I'm going to be live on all of my platforms. We do have some storm chasers in and around the area. I'm not sure about our local storm chasers that we have. Team Havoc, I think they're going to sit this one out. Nader Boys, they are thinking about maybe going out. We'll be utilizing their feeds and what they're seeing out there. We also have a couple also here. We actually have a well-known Corey Gherkin. He is going to be out and about. Let me mute him. He's going to be out and about in the Kansas area as well. So we're going to have plenty of opportunities to be able to get that information to you guys. You just going to have to maintain staying weather aware as we go through the afternoon. So let's jump back over to radar for one look. And again, these storms are moving to the east, southeast, as they continue to make a slow progress over here to west central Missouri. So I will be continuing to keep a very close eye on these cells and update you guys with any additional information. So that's all I have for right now, and I'll definitely be talking to you guys here probably within the next couple hours. Take care. Have a good rest of the afternoon.